Hello everyone and welcome to our Phase 3 Upper Extremity Injury Prevention Program. Congratulations, that means you finished weeks 1 and 2 already, so you're 4 weeks in and you only have 2 left to go. To the right of me on the screen is our dynamic warm-up as we've done plenty of times in the past, but please take the time to go through that each time you go through any of these workouts, roughly 2 to 3 times per week. We want to spend about 10 to 15 minutes, so for the first 5 you're going to spend jogging, on a stationary bike, elliptical, whatever you have available to you, and then you'll spend about 30 to 45 seconds going through the dynamic exercises and stretches that I have listed below that. So pause this video now, that way you can go through those, and then once you've done that, we'll hop right into our first circuit. But also, if you need a reminder on how to do any of those stretches, feel free to reference my Phase 1 upper extremity or Phase 1 lower extremity videos. Those will give you a step-by-step as I walk through those exercises and giving you some different pointers and tips on how to properly execute those. So again, once you've spent about 10 to 15 minutes going through this warm-up, we're going to hop right into our first circuit. Circuit number 1, we've got 5 exercises. We're going to be doing 4 sets of each. Definitely want to try to improve upon each week, so we're going to up the reps or sets, whatever it may be, the seconds that you're going to be doing planks, things like that. So this one is 4 sets, so keep that in mind. The first one's going to be lat rows, so grab your TheraBand if you have one. We've done this one in the past, but just as a refresher, you're going to sit on the ground here. We're going to wrap this TheraBand around our feet. Apply whatever resistance you feel is necessary in order to make it challenging for you. And you're going to pull back. Pretend there's like a pencil or a pen in between your shoulder blades there, and you're trying to squeeze it together. You're going to hold for about 2 to 3 seconds and then relax. Okay? And so that is our first exercise. You'll be doing 15 repetitions for the lat rows. Next, we've got lateral plank walks. This one, you're going to need a little bit of space in between, so you're going to take about 3 steps to the right and 3 to the left. You can also do more than that, but this is actually a timed exercise. So get your phone out, get your watch out, make sure you keep track of it because we're doing this for 30 seconds. You're going to get in a plank position, and then you're just going to move to the right and to the left. Okay, and once your 30 seconds is up, we'll move on to the next exercise, which for us is tricep dips. I've got my bench here behind me, but feel free to use a chair, a couch, whatever you have available for you. You can even use dumbbells as well and do tricep extensions. But for this one, we're going to be doing the dips. So this one, we've done this before as well. But as a reminder, the more difficult or challenging one would be to stick your feet the whole way out in front of you. Make sure you lower those hips to the whole way to the ground and come back up. You can also make it a little bit easier. Keeping in mind, again, we're doing 4 sets, so if you feel like that might be too challenging for all 4, feel free to modify it, bend those knees slightly. That'll take some tension off. And so for tricep dips, we're doing 15 repetitions. Fourth, we've got our resistance bands. So we're going to be doing resisted internal and external rotation. A little bit different, though, than what we've done in the past. Before, we were just at this level right here, keeping our elbow tucked in. Now we're going to actually pull this up a little bit higher. You're going to bring your shoulder up to 90 degrees, keep that elbow bent. I'm going to start with external rotation on the right arm. So again, with any type of resistance band, the closer you are, the less resistance, the farther back, the more resistance you have. With this one, we're going to be doing 10 repetitions of external rotation, 10 repetitions of internal rotation. That is 1 set for the right arm, and then you'll switch and do the same on the left. So as a reminder for external rotation, for the right arm, we're going to be in this position, and we're going to bring that arm up and hold for about a second or 2, and then slowly let it back down. So if it's a little too much, you can come in closer. Trying to get that arm up to 90 degrees. Okay? And then I'm going to switch on this side, that way you can get an idea of what internal rotation is going to look like. So this is internal rotation on the left arm. So with this one, we're going to come out a little bit farther, elbow to 90 degrees, and you're going to come down. Slowly let it come back up, come down. Okay. So again, that was internal and external rotation with the TheraBand. Doing 10 repetitions of each on each arm for 4 sets. And then our 5th and final exercise is those push-ups that we did in Phase 2. Same type of idea. We're going to be doing a total of 15. We're going to split that up into 3 sets. So 5 normal, 5 wide, 5 narrow. If you can do one right after the other, great, but feel free to take a break in between, okay? And with any type of push-up, you can also start on your feet like a standard push-up, or go down onto your knees and make it a little bit easier and modify it. That way you can complete all 15 sets. So again, regular push-ups, just get that chest the whole way to the ground. Okay, and then we're gonna go into the wide push-ups. And then last but not least, the narrow push-ups. Okay, so again, that was one set of each exercise. You'll go through and complete 3 more sets of each. So make sure you give yourself plenty of time to do that. And then we're gonna move on to our next circuit. All right, now we're gonna begin circuit number 2. This one contains 6 exercises, each of which you'll complete 3 sets for. So we're gonna hop right into that. The first one's gonna be burpees. So I'm gonna give myself some space back here. With any type of burpee, there's always a jump involved. If that's too much for you, feel free to exclude the jump and do a walk back. I'll show you obviously 2 different modifications that you can do. So your standard burpee. Okay, just make sure you get that chest all the way to the ground. You can also incorporate a push-up into that. Again, I'm kind of leaving a lot of open area for you to kind of make this as challenging for you as possible. Just keeping in mind you have to do 3 sets of 8 repetitions. Other one would be, if the jump is too much, feel free to exclude that part and then do like a walk back. Lift those arms up and stand up that way. That would be the lower intensity, lower impact version of a burpee. The second one we're going to be doing is lat pull down. So grab your TheraBand if you have it. We're going to be doing 20 repetitions for 1 set. So as a reminder, as we've done this one before, arms out overhead, press and tension, and pull back. Again, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Come up. Hold for about 2 to 3 seconds before you come back up again. And again, the closer those hands are, the more resistance you're going to have coming down. Okay. Third, we're going to be doing the standing wall chest pass. So for phase 2, I kind of showed you how to do it. Since I don't have a medicine ball at home, that would be the ideal piece of equipment to have. But if you don't have that, don't worry. Maybe if you're a thrower, you have a shot put. So feel free just to throw that out into the open area in your yard. But if you have a medicine ball, find like a brick wall or a sturdy wall that you can use to throw against it. It's the exact same mechanism basically of throwing it as we did, except the first time we did it in phase 2 was in a kneeling position. Now we're in a standing position, so we can really engage those quads, hamstrings, glutes to try and get that power to do that chest pass. So I'm just going to use a dumbbell just to show you technique-wise how to throw it. But obviously, as many of you know, chest pass kind of speaks for itself, but really try and engage that lower body too as you throw it. Just push back, thrust those hips forward, and throw it forward, okay? So we're really trying to work on power and strength here, and really trying to get a quick, forceful contraction of all those muscles as we push off. So for the standing wall chest pass, you're going to be doing 12 repetitions of each. All right, and then our 4th exercise is the single arm lateral raises with an isometric hold. So basically, we're going to be doing 8 repetitions on each arm. But for this, the concept basically is that you're going to be doing a lateral raise on one side while you hold the other one out. So with this, you'll hold this one here as I'm raising up on this side. And you're going to be doing 8 repetitions. And once you hit your 8, you'll switch, hold that at 90, and you'll do the other side. The main concept is with that isometric hold. As you can probably see too, I was struggling a little bit, but you want to try to keep it at 90 degrees. Also, don't let your elbow bend. Keep that arm out straight as possible. So again, 8 repetitions on each arm for that. And then our 5th and 6th exercises are going to be called D1 and D2 patterns. So if you got a resistance band, feel free to grab that right now as I get set up for this exercise. We're going to start off with our D1 pattern, and I'm going to be using my left arm for this. So you're going to be doing 8 repetitions of the D1 pattern on the left arm, and then you'll switch and do 8 repetitions of each on the right arm. So for this one, we're going to be starting, basically what we like to call this one is pulling the sword out of your pocket side here. So I'm going to start with my left arm in this manner with my hand on the inside portion of my right hip, and I'm going to be providing resistance against as I move my arm up. So as you can see here, starting on the side, pulling that arm up. So I got to get a little bit off there. So you can see here, pull up, and then slowly let it come back down. So that is the first pattern of D1. And then we're just going to perform the same manner. You can obviously use the same TheraBand just for a quicker transition for me to show you. I'm going to use the TheraTube that I have wrapped around the pole here. And you'll complete the same manner and the same motion, just having resistance in the opposite direction. So as I was provided resistance coming up, now I'm having resistance coming down in that manner. So again, pulling it down, coming back up. So you're basically coming up from the left side and coming down to the right hip, opposite right hip. Okay? So that is our D1 pattern. D2, I'm still going to complete on the left-hand side. So with this one, what we're going to be doing instead is we're going to be basically providing resistance as I come up. So your hand will start down here, and you're going to come up, and it's like you're throwing something away. Turn that hand palm facing backwards. So you're having, again, resistance as you come up, and you can adjust this. So obviously I could probably use a little bit more resistance, so I'll stand a little bit closer to the end. You should have resistance provided the whole way through this motion, and you throw it away. So basically you're coming up, and you're throwing away. Alright, and again, I'm going to use this tubing here just to show you. I'm again doing all this on the left-hand side, so it's actually a total of 4 movements, 8 repetitions of each, and then you'll switch and do it on the right arm. So then this one, basically I'll be having resistance against when I come down. So start from this position, and I'm coming down and throwing away. Coming up, throwing away. So those were our D1 and D2 patterns. They really are beneficial for multi-plane movement, especially for those of you who are overhead athletes. So again, with D1 and D2. So D1, starting with the sword in the pocket and bringing it up. You can even open up your palm, but obviously if you're holding a resistance band, you should keep a tight grip on that. That's D1. D2, starting from the opposite shoulder, coming down, throwing it away. Coming up, throwing it away. So that was our circuit number 2. Again, go through each of those exercises, 2 more sets of each, and then we're just going to move on to our final circuit for phase 3. Alright, now we're going to complete our third and final circuit for phase 3. This one contains 5 exercises, all of which you'll complete 3 sets for. The first one is Inchworm Pushups. So you're going to be in a standing position such as this. You're going to bend down and walk out into a plank, complete a push-up, and then push yourself back up, strictly just using upper body. So I'm going to show you now 1 or 2 of how to do those. Okay, so that was an inchworm push-up. You'll complete 3 more of those, and that will be your first set. Second, we're going to be doing standing overhead forward throw. So with this one, again, I'm going to use a dumbbell just to show you how to do it, but obviously a medicine ball would be ideal, or if you have a shot put like I mentioned before, if you're a thrower, feel free to go out into an open area in your yard. But if you have a medicine ball, find a wall, or even, again, just throw it out in your yard. It's the same concept as we did before with like the kneeling chest pass, kneeling underhand throw. Now we're progressing on and doing a standing version of it. So with that one, basically, you'll be in a standing position. You'll have that medicine ball overhead. This will really allow us to engage full body movement, really engage that lower body, quads, hamstrings, glutes, the core activated as well as we get through and bring that power up through and throw the ball. So basically, you'll be in a standing position, and then you'll release overhead and do an overhead throw. You'll be doing a total of 8 repetitions for that. Next, we have steering wheels. With these, if you have a dumbbell, that's what I'm going to be using, or if you have like a weighted chest plate, things like that you can use as well. But basically what you'll be doing is you're going to stick that object out in front of you, and you're basically going to turn it like it would be a steering wheel. And you're going to do that for 20 seconds. Hold it out straight as you can. Obviously, you want the shoulders up into about 90 degrees of flexion. Keep those elbows as straight as possible. And you're just going to twist back and forth for a total of 20 seconds. Fourth, we have our renegade row. So if you have both of your dumbbells, feel free to grab those. And again, incorporate the push-up into it. I'll show both. That way, if you'd like to do that, you can. But just your standard renegade row is in this position. You'll go up into a push-up position, and then you're just going to do a lat row, basically alternating back and forth between the left and the right arm. And again, you can incorporate a push-up in between each of those to make it a little bit more challenging. So that was our fourth exercise. You're going to be doing a total of 12 repetitions for that. And then the last one is medicine ball slam. So we'll be doing 8 repetitions of that. So again, grab your medicine ball if you have it. Even if you have like a sandbag, something like that, where you can do an overhead motion. Bring that down. Slam it down as hard as you can. We're really trying to, again, work on that powerful, forceful contraction. And really trying to increase that as well. So if you have a dumbbell too, find a heavy weighted object, just don't let go of it. You can still stick it overhead though, and engage that whole body. So you're gonna bring this overhead, also come down into a squat, and stand back up, okay? So it's also a little bit of a cardio exercise too. We're trying to work on form, obviously, that's first and foremost. But if you feel confident in doing those, try and get a good steady pace going for those 8 repetitions that you have to do it, okay? So again, those were our 5 exercises that we're gonna be doing for circuit number 3. You'll go through and complete 2 more sets of each, and now we're going to move on to our core portion of the workout. All right, now with the core workout, as we've done before, I'm going to list a total of 3 options that you can go through for phase 3. Choose just one to do. Don't do all 3 each time you go through this workout. Again, just choose one. I wanted to give some variety for you guys and kind of give you an option to choose and kind of mix it up each time so it's not the exact same workout that you're doing every single time. So again, if you'd like to do option number 1, follow along with this portion of the video. We're going to be starting out with planks. We're going to be doing 4 different variations, 3 sets of 30 seconds for each. So first, starting off with just our standard plank, keeping those hips level. Next, we're going to be going into the up-down. So you go up into a push-up position, come back down, and then alternate. And then we have our side plank to the right, keeping those hips off the ground too. Hold that for 30 seconds and then you switch sides to the left. All right. Next we have Russian twists. So I'm going to grab my dumbbell here for a little extra resistance, but feel free to just stick with body weight. It's totally up to you. As a reminder, keep those hips level. It's mostly focused on twisting that trunk, working on those obliques. We'll do a total of 20 repetitions, 10 on each side. Third, we've got our lemon squeezers. We're going to be doing 20 repetitions for that as well. So we'll start here. You'll come up. Okay. So those were our lemon squeezers. Fourth, we've got crab alternating toe touches for a total of 20 repetitions, 10 on each side. Again, with this one, once you start to feel pretty confident, you can kind of speed up the process a little bit. But slow and take your time if coordination and balance isn't something you're a strong suit of. So again, 20 repetitions, basically doing 10 on each side. And then last but not least, we got Superman's, 15 repetitions for this. So you'll lay on your stomach, and then each time you come up, hold for about a second or 2, and then slowly let back down. Alright, so that was circuit number 1. Go through and complete each of those exercises for 2 more sets. Okay, so for option number 2, follow along with this portion of the video. We're going to start out with Flutter Kicks. So we're going to be doing a total of 30 repetitions on each side, so 15 per leg. If you're not super familiar with Flutter Kicks, you're going to be laying flat on the ground, and basically you'll just be lifting your feet about 6 inches off the ground and going in like a scissor motion, alternating back and forth. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, try and keep them as slow as possible. That way you can keep your core engaged for as long as possible. But again, 30 repetitions, 15 for each leg. Okay, so that was Flutter Kicks. Next we're going to be doing mountain climbers. Those we're going to be doing a total of 30 repetitions for. touches. You'll be doing 15 repetitions for toe touches. All right, and as a reminder, as I said before, please feel free to stop this video. Obviously, I'm not going through the full sets and reps for these. I just want to show you how to complete these in case you're not super familiar with any of these exercises. So feel free to pause it as you go. Again, I include each circuit at the beginning of each portion of the video, so you just pause it there too. That way you know how many sets and reps to do, or follow along with me through each one and then pause it as you go. The fourth exercise is straight leg sit-ups. Again, just keep those legs straight out in front of you. You can obviously get a heavier dumbbell than what I am right now, or a heavier object. I just wanted to grab this to show you that you can feel free to modify this and add some progressions into this exercise to make it more challenging each time for you. Again, if 20 isn't enough, feel free to increase that or decrease it, whatever's best suited for you. Okay, so that was straight leg sit-ups. And then our fifth and final exercise is our planks. You're doing 3 sets of 30 seconds for each. So you're going to start out with your standard plank. After that, you're going to do shoulder taps. So get into a push-up position. You're going to be alternating the hand to the opposite shoulder. The main focus with this one is trying to keep those hips from rocking too much back and forth. So really try and keep that core engaged the whole time. And then our last two for the planks are going to be reach through. So I'm going to stand on the side here first. So I'm going to be on my right side. Basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to push yourself up off the ground. You're going to reach through and come up. So I'm a little limited on space here, but I wanted to give you guys an idea of how to do these if you've ever done this type of plank before. Just a side plank, and then reach through and come up. Okay, so that was circuit number 2, and if you'd like to do option or circuit number 3, feel free to follow along with this next portion of the video. All right, and this is, like I said, our third and final option. So this one also contains 5 exercises. You're going to be doing 3 sets of each. We're going to start out with bicycles. We're doing 30 repetitions for bicycles. Okay. Next, we're going to be doing our planks. We're going to start out with our normal plank, like this, 30 seconds. Next, we're going to be doing plank jacks. So this is kind of a combination of the shoulder taps as well as working on moving our legs out to the side. So this one does involve some coordination, so feel free to take it slow at first until you get the hang of it, and then you can try and speed it up as you go. With this one, you're going to be up in a push-up position, and then as you alternate shoulder taps, you're going to be kicking your legs out to the side. Okay. Next, we're going to be doing double leg V-ups. So these are very similar to the alternating V-ups that we did, but instead of just doing one leg at a time, we're going to try and do both. So, we're going to come up, just like this. Take your time with these. If you need to take a break in between, feel free to do so. But there are going to be 10 repetitions for that. Our fourth one is Superman's. So you lay flat on the ground, as we've done before, as in option number 1. You're going to come up and then hold for a second or two and then slowly lower. Okay, and then our fifth and final exercise is leg raises. You're doing 15 repetitions for leg raises. Okay, so that was our third core option. Now all we have left is our cool down. So feel free to keep watching and I'll walk you guys through our cool down. All right, as you guys have probably figured out now, the last and final thing we need to do yet is our cool down, which is obviously very important. So spend about 15 to 20 minutes going through what I have listed here on the right side of the screen. Do each stretch for about 3 sets of 30 to 45 seconds, especially on each arm. If you want to incorporate some other upper extremity stretches, please feel free to. This is just a small list. It's not an exhaustive list of every single stretch that's out there. So if there's other things that you like to typically do, please feel free to incorporate those into that. But again, take about 15 to 20 minutes going through that, and then you've completed phase number 3 of our upper extremity injury prevention program once you've gone through this program for 2 weeks. So congratulations on completing that. If you haven't already tried our lower extremity prevention program, please feel free, if you have the time, to do that as well. I think both are vitally important no matter what sport you play, especially if you play multiple sports too. Just want to make sure that we're as well-rounded as possible going into your next fall, winter, spring sports season, whatever sports you may play. But please feel free to go through and do both, especially if you haven't done the lower extremity one yet. Again, thank you so much for your support and for visiting Shippensburg Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine and just trying out these workouts. I hope they were of benefit to you and that you're able to get a lot out of them. But thanks again for completing it, and hope you guys have a good rest of your day.